syncing it up. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Tom, aka Keota, and I'm here to do a, I don't want to call it a tutorial, but it is a tutorial. It's kind of really just like a theory type of video on, it's a fucking pretentious term, but bear with me. I basically, this video is going to be how to make Neuro bass in, you know, as efficient way as possible. Basically, getting the most combinations and possibilities and cool bits and pieces of sounds that, you know, from a foundational standpoint sound, you know, similar enough where you could chop them up and use them together, but there's enough variations through macros or LFOs and filtering and etc. Throughout it, and automations so that there's plenty of variation and things to choose from. And it's pretty, the possibilities are, you know, essentially endless. I'm going to be using FL Studio. This video is not going to be like exclusive to FL Studio on any level. You can be using any DAW. In fact, I'm specifically making this like not about FL Studio, although I do want to make a couple other I want to make some FL Studio specific tutorials that are going to come in the future before I inevitably switch to Ableton, because I figure I would just share what I've learned over the last 7 years about this DAW before I end up moving on, which I think that I'm going to. But yeah, anyway, you don't need FL to pick up on any of this. Also, I'm going to be using Serum, and I'm going to be using a couple other plugins that are like specific, but you don't need them. It just kind of, it's about workflow, and for what I'm trying to do, makes it easier. There's probably better plugins to use, or, you know, there's shittier plugins to use, obviously. But so yeah, to start out, I am using Serum. I have a MIDI keyboard here. I got the webcam on here just so that you, like, if it was on my face, this isn't about me, you know, and there's nothing to see here. You know, I'd be pressing buttons and twisting knobs, and you wouldn't know. You'd be like, "What the fuck? How's that shit? What's going on?" So I have it pointed here so you can see when I do shit and when I twist knobs, because that is a huge part of this video. Oh yeah, cutting in really quick. This is definitely not one of those. I'm not going to be putting the final sound in the beginning of the video, because that would defeat the whole point of this video. The whole point of this video that I'm doing, it's about the journey, man. It's all about how you get there, dude. It's not about, like, you know, oh, I want to make a yoy, or I want to make a comb filtery, I want to know how to make a wub, and, you know, it's not that. It's honestly, the whole point of this is to just, you know, to delve into a process that caters to getting a wide range of sounds, particularly for Neuro stuff. And, you know, there's definitely a bunch of different ways you could go about it, and it's just one I've been doing lately, and that's really it. And I hope you enjoy. So, to start out, let's see. I make a really long pattern, and ba-ba. All right, so yeah, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't need to be super long, but since I'm not going to be relying on envelopes or triggers much, which I could, let me just make it over here just for. If you have one long note, you're good. Who gives a hoot? And now, for starters, I'm going to mono, legato. I mean, we don't really need always on this. Oh, and then also I want to turn that up a little bit. All right. And now, just for starters, how fast is this going? This is going to be sounding pretty boring for a hot second, but I like to, oh, I'm doing this at C. I want to do it an octave higher. Or at F, I mean. I like to have everything at one note for a long period of time, because then when you go to resample something, you can kind of use it melodically and know what you're working with. So like at the end of this, like I'm gonna have one long ass file that is, or one long ass Neuro sample that is, I know it's all at F, and I'll just name it like Neuro bass F. So we got that start out. What I'm probably going to do for this video is use like 2 saws, because I think that it really shows like it's, you know, they're harmonically rich. And what we could do is we could do FM, which I really like, and you know, I'm very inclined to, but let's just do the saw waves for, no, you know what, fuck it, let's do FM. So I'm gonna just pick something. I like this one a lot, you know? Let's see, I'm gonna turn this bad boy off. And then I'm gonna turn the level down on this. Not totally necessary. I like to have this on band plus or minus, because you got a lot of options there. Put this on FM from B. Okay, then I'm gonna get some LFOs going here. Get a little one going there. Let's see. I want to route something with some good options there. Let's see. I think I like the first one I picked. Oh wait, I like acid a lot. Let me turn down this rate. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna go with acid. Or that. I don't like that much. This, you could edit it and then change the morph to crossfade if it isn't crossfading. But you know, I'm gonna go with whatever one that was. Let's see. I think it was this one. Okay, now here, I'll put a different LFO on it. Alright, now I'm gonna make one of these knobs rate for whatever reason, and this is a legit copy of Serum too. When I go to type in the and right here, it doesn't want to let me. It just goes away. Whatever, it's not a big deal. But we're just gonna have to know what these knobs are doing, which is annoying. So for start, I'm not even using all these LFOs yet, but I'm gonna just turn them down real low, and I'm gonna get the rate going. I'm gonna make them not all the same, but close, because I'm not trying to have like something that's too predictable. You know, I want to just know that when I change the rate, I'm going to, you know, of this knob, it'll affect, you know, everything will just, there'll be more stuff happening. So I'm gonna hook up these 4 macro knobs to my MIDI controller. You don't you don't need a MIDI controller, but this makes things like a lot easier and way more fun, and then you have way more control over like having fluid human movements in what you're doing than if you you know, we're just clicking around. Plus, when you're clicking around, you only have your mouse. You can just click and move one thing, whereas with this, you have 2 hands at least. And if you have an XY controller, that's like having a 3rd hand. And I'm actually I'm getting an XY controller soon. I can't wait. So I'm gonna click this. This is an FL Studio trick. I click this, and 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 then I move my knobs in the same order, and then it hooks those up. So we got that going. So we got the rate going. Let's see. I think those rates are too similar though. I can even do one for a little bit on the FM and how much there is. Let's see. All right, now you could do sub-direct out. I think I'm going to go with that just because it's always safe. And I'm probably going to stop testing this bass sound with my hands on the thing. Because now I can just let this loop. I can hit space. Mind you, I am recording this for the video, but also for, you know, so I can resample it later. So I can hit space, and then I can start adding other things like other filters and whatever within Serum, and then we'll move on to the next stage, which is like post-processing and stuff. Actually, you know what? Why would I start there? Too much there. Now I can do that again on this. I really like getting like, you get a lot of different like valley content, whether you go low or you go high in like the frequency spectrum. I really like low, mid, messing around there. I mean, you get some, like, it's the kind of the difference between having like a squelch and like a really guttural like Neuro, like a, where you want to poop. Although, granted, right now this up here, this peak is pretty goofy. Now you can, throw some distortion on there, but I feel like a lot of the time I don't really. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I don't really like using this distortion as much as I like some of the post-processing stuff that I'm gonna end up using. But I'm gonna just mess around with it for a hot second, see if I can, make myself feel good. All right, so far so good. That, sounds pretty neat. So now what I can do real quick, I can make a macro for wavetable, which, there we go. Yeah, I don't know why that happens. If anyone can tell me why I can't name my macros, it just doesn't want me to, let me know. But let's say a macro 2 is going to be for, I'm going to set it up to this wavetable thing. Just a little bit. I'll do this one. It's already being automated by an LFO, but then I can, get even more options there. Let's see. I will make another one for bend. It's going to be just bend. Oh, it didn't even stay. That's sick. Oh, it did. All right, cool. So I got bend going. I got some options there. I could even hook that up to this. Let's see. And then, same thing, I click this, click these two things, create automation clip, and then, just fuck around, just give it a good fuck. All right, and then another thing I like to do, you know what, is basically this. So that's hitting an octave above and below in little quick bursts here and there. And then if you want to spice it up even more, top of that, you can pitch bend it. And I like it when you pitch bend like this because I'm pretty sure the way this pitch bend works is at the end of the chain and it's not just pitch bending the oscillator. And then what I like to do again for the sake of knowing what I'm working with is I will make I copy the value. I don't know if you could do that in other DAWs, but in FL, I guess that is pretty nice because then it's, whatever. I copy it at 50 because then I know that it's always going to be in the middle overall. And then this is one thing I find really cool and fun and interesting. Here's an octave higher, which, like the very top here's one octave up and this is down. But what I find cool is going like halfway in between because it just works. Or you could do a quarter of the way in between. And I know at this point, like we're getting into like the territory of like weird, like it's really just kind of, it's not harmonic because there's not more than one thing going on. I don't know the music theory terms, but it's just kind of like it's Fibonacci, dude. It's like exponential, dude. We're just like getting in we're getting in there. So that's what I like to do sometimes. Go up, you go down, you go just real quick, just enough to get people like, ooh, there's... Whoa, I copied the wrong value there. Look at that. Boom. Do another one of these at 75. Maybe I'll do actually one at 75 and then do a little slope. And then maybe, you know, and I have a idea too. I don't know if you can do what I'm about to do in Ableton or, whoops, or whatever else. But this is pretty neat. I am actually going to make this, I'm going to copy this, and then I can invert it, I believe. How do I do that? How do I do that? Flip vertically. Nice. There we go. I did it. And then another neato thing you can do is you can make it unique again. Oh, what? Oh, first I should move it somewhere. Make it unique again. You know what I might as well do at this point? I'm gonna just copy all this over. I can make it so that this is a unique, yeah, is twice as quick. And then I can do that again. And then I can flip that the other way. But I don't want to do the other way because that's, oh no, I meant to actually flip it. Give it a good old flip. So now we got all that. We got a lot of shit going on. We got all those LFOs. We've got some automations. We've got our fingers. Now moving on to the next phase. Oh, what did I do here? Uh-oh. It's okay. Just move this over. Well, let's see how long I've spent so far. It has been 22 minutes. Nice. Didn't want to make it this long, but here we are. Okay. So moving on to the next phase. We've got Patcher, which is exclusive to FL. Don't let that scare you. Patcher is just a mixer in your mixer. You can basically just route in really creative ways. You know, you can route in the same ways as you can in what I imagine any other DAW can. The only difference is that it's laid out in such a way where you can kind of think a little more creatively. So it can be really fun. Let's see. So I'm gonna start. What the heck? Where's my? I updated FL, so it's a little different effects. Here we go. My favorites. So this is an EQ. This is an EQ. One thing I like to do is split the bands. You can do a low, medium, high. You can do a low, high. I like to just start with low, high, and then only split it up further if I feel like I need to later. I like to split it real low. Like, I'm just going to say 90. I could honestly do higher than that. So this is the highs. This is the lows. I got to make it. So this is your in. This your out. So that's going out to FL. I'll do this just to group them up. Group them up. Now, one thing I have been really... All right. Actually, before I get ahead of myself, first what we're going to want to do is distort a little bit, bring out some of those harmonics. The sound already might be a little too messy, but let's just give it a whirl. Let's just see. So I'm going to use Trash 2 later. Right now I'm going to use Distroyr, which is free, and it's pretty neat, honestly. I'm going to put this, and this is honestly really important, I'm going to put this distortion before this high pass here, because if I put it after, then it's only going to distort the distortion works basically. I think that distortion kind of works from the ground up. It works from low to high in terms of frequencies. It distorts lower frequencies and goes up and creates new harmonic content. And now, depending on the algorithm or whatever of how it's distorting it, it's going to do it in a lot of different ways. It's going to make, it could bring really subtle harmonics or, really extreme. But basically, you want to get that low content in there. Otherwise, you're going to be just distorting, higher frequencies. And even though this is like the low mid, it really makes a huge difference. Because like if I were to just like distort, if you were to just distort your high end, you'd get like this white noise shit sound. But if you distort your low end, if you just had a sine and you distort that shit, you're going to get some harmonic detail. And then if you just keep doing that over and over and whatever, then, you could end up with technically with a full spectrum of sound. Or you could use a saw wave, you could, that's also why FM is cool, because with FM, you can really get just like, you don't need, you have a lot of control over how much harmonic detail is and how like full your sound is. Cause you could just go with the sine wave and then just, move up just a little bit from the bottom and then, just go from there, which is cool. Or you could use saw waves too. So I'm just gonna do some basic like shit with this. Let's see. All right, now for a fun part here. This is like where it starts to get really fun. This plugin is Fabfilter Volcano 2. It is fucking awesome. I love it. And I'm gonna show you why. So basically, it's a filtering plugin. And honestly, I doubt I would even use this if I had Ableton, because I know Ableton has like autofilter, among other things, I imagine, where basically you can have like little settings, like kind of like in this, in Fabfilter Volcano, where you can have like this, as a low pass, you can make it tube or metal or whatever, etc., etc. So you can create multiple filters or bands, technically too, and you can link them up like this, and you can. This is the routing here. So right now, one is routed through this high pass, so you're not going to hear anything. I mean, you hear the low pass. Oh wait, you shouldn't hear anything. Let's see. Yes, it's some of. Oh yeah, because the sub is separate over here. So yeah, you don't hear shit. You don't hear a goddamn thing. You don't hear nothing at all coming out of this dang old bass. So we're gonna do this so that they're parallel. Gonna bring them closer together. I'm probably just gonna do with what's essentially a notch here, but I'll start with that, I guess, and then I'll move on. All right, now this is where it starts to get fun. Gonna make an XY controller. This is gonna control the rates. Oh no, this actually, yeah, you know what I'm gonna do with this? I'll set it up to these frequencies of each one of these things here. You can, whoops. Now, this controls when you move this, how much it's going to move either of these. So I'm gonna probably keep it here for now. But one thing that's important to note if you're watching this is that when I move this, it doesn't appear to move here, although it is moving. And then what I like to do also is make the Y the peak. And this is why I can't wait to get XY controller. I'm actually getting, there's an app called, I'm pulling it up now. An app called LK. It's for Ableton Live, but also just for MIDI and stuff. And you can use it, you need like some type of adapter so that you can use your phone as a controller. And mine being an iPhone, you need a Lightning to MIDI. And I ordered that in the mail. It was like $60. I honestly couldn't find any cheaper. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe there is one that is cheaper. But okay, so we got this. Doesn't seem to be doing. Let's see here. Oh, because I have it on the frequency by accident. On the. All right. There we go. Let me just. Now we can make this a little more resonant and do these here. And then this is honestly so fun is when you start to do this stuff. So here's an LFO, lower that frequency a little bit. Let's see, I can set this up to frequency of both of these. Keep it simple at first. So it's right now going to just change those a little bit. Now you'll hear it more if I do this. And now what I'll do, I'll make another LFO and I can just make, let's see, actually, what would I want to do first? I'll do frequency of this. And I'll make it a different rate. Oh, wait. Make another LFO. And for this one, I'll do it on this guy here, which is the frequency of that. Make it slow. And what else am I going to do here? Let's see. I'm going to make another XY controller, and I'm going to make this the rate of all of these LFOs. Let me over. Okay. Let's see. I can make an LFO that controls how much. Let's see. How much these frequencies move. You know, I could just do, which slot would that be? Yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to go over like this. All right, and now here's what I'm going to do real quick before I get ahead of myself. So, I wish there was an easier way to do this in FL Studio, but there's not. So what I have to do is I want to automate this X and this Y, and I want to automate these two. Even though I don't have this Y set up to anything yet, I'm going to. So I'm going to move this X, then I hit inputs on Fabfilter Volcano, parameters, and then last tweaked knob. How fun is that? I'm going to do up, down. I'm going to do that again. Inputs, parameters, last tweaked knob, vertical. Now I'm going to do the horizontal and vertical on my MIDI controller. I'll do horizontal this one, do vertical this one, and then I will make the rate this slider. So I have to do this again here. So here we go, let's see. All right, and this is before any real major distortion too, which is pretty fun. So now what I'm gonna do also, just for a little excitement, a little seasoning, I'm gonna just do a band pass. I'm gonna automate it with some other things like this. Why not? Because it's different and it'll be less predictable than just one movement with all the filters that's the same all the time. Let's see. All right, cool, Beans. Maybe I'll make it a little less resonant. But maybe I will hook up this peak to this too. So that everything is more resonant when I do that. Let's see. What else could I do? I could also link this up to when I move them, that I move that one too. Let's see. But let me make one more final and like really dramatic LFO to really get things like really weird. All right, so let's see what else. How could I make this any more fucked? Yeah, filter one frequency. Let's see. Oh wait, what am I doing? I'll do this. Yeah, let's link these ones together, but then let's leave filter 2 out. I don't know how well I'm even explaining what I'm doing. I hope that it's somewhat apparent. I'm just linking up a bunch of different things with some rhyme and reason, but just so that I have a lot of different combinations so that when I do things, you know, it's I don't have to like work as hard. So let's see here. We've got, this is the controlling where these filters are in general. It doesn't necessarily matter with the placement that they have here because they're all automated in so many different ways with all these different LFOs. So they're going to be kind of all over the place, sort of centered around this point. And then I'm going to be moving them with this X, moving the peak with this, and then moving the rate with this. See, if the peak's up all the way, you can really, really hear it. And then you can hear the effect of the LFO more if I lower it. Well, I probably have to lower the rate of Serum's rate too to really hear it. But which, yeah, this is the first one. All right, so let's see. Now we're really gonna hear it more. What am I doing? All right, these knobs. Yeah. See that? Honestly, it needs to be a little more fucked than that too, though. Now, we're not going to be using it sounding like that. I'm just kind of doing that so I can really see. Let's see now. We'll turn the rate back up on Serum. Maybe I'll move this bandpass somewhere totally different. I feel like everything's a little too predictable in this. So maybe I will let's just see here. Now let's distort the fuck out of it. Might be a little too resonant in some areas, but let's see. Where's my trash? Now, let's see. I could put that here, or I could put that here. I'll put it here. Now, trash is so fun. You have two stages. So you have a before and an after. You have filters. You have other filters, which you can control with LFOs and stuff. And you got some other stuff here, which I'm going to be honest, I haven't fucked with it that much yet. I've really been using the most basic distortion plugins until now. But this is so fun, honestly. And you have so many different combinations of shit that you can do. Or just like, you know, like routing your fucking... Let's see. I'm going to actually play this from here now. So that I'm not like trying to turn knobs myself anymore, because then I have another free hand. I just like to cycle through them because honestly a lot of them sound like shit, and then you can tweak them in here. But yeah, so I just, let's see. sound like nothing. You can do multiband and trash too, which is pretty neat. I only really need these two. I'm just gonna bypass this one. Yeah. But actually, oh, look at that. When you do multiband, it gets rid of your distortion. All right, whatever. And then lastly, I think that's like basically the gist of it. This video is long enough as it is. I think it's been almost an hour. I'm going to have to edit the fuck out of this because I take forever to do shit. But basically, I'm just going to sip this water. And, oh yeah, we can just change in Serum now. So, let's see. So while I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be playing with these knobs, and I'm going to try and see if I can label them in the video. Well, I don't know how like possible that is, because I don't know how much of it you could even see. Yeah, you could get it. Yeah, you got a good look at it. All right, so let's give it a whirl. Oh, it's terrible. So that's really it. I mean, this could be done a million different ways, but really it's kind of like, I started this saying that I wanted to make it an effective, the quickest way you could get a bunch of different sounds. Ended up taking me like 45 minutes. I'm going to cut it up a little bit, but basically in that 45 minutes, I ended up with like a good 30 minutes of stuff I can cut up into 5-minute chunks and then access whenever I want. And they all sound like different in their own ways. And I probably only use a fraction of each audio clip that I got there, but that's really the whole thing. I'm excited to do more tutorials, and I hope this one was somewhat informative. And I'll try and label these knobs somehow so you can actually see what I'm doing. And then besides that, that's it. Thanks for watching.